A lonely widow with lots of money and no one to give it to needs a will. A lawyer down on his luck, drowning in debt, his whole world is a pile of crap, meets the woman. What could possibly go wrong in this scenario? Except a murder, an accusation, and a whole lot of court drama. Welcome to Boozy B's Books and Cocktails. I'm Dana B, and we are discussing the new John Grisham crime thriller book, The Widow. Let me just say that I love John Grisham. I have loved him from the very beginning with A Time to Kill, but his later on books were a little Hollywood for me. He's had a few in between that I've really enjoyed, but nothing compares to A Time to Kill. So when I heard that he had written a new book, and the buzz is that he's gone back to the very basic writing, I was very, very intrigued. So here's the setup with the book. It is about a widow, and her name is Eleanor. She comes into Simon's office, and she has a will that she wants him to read, and she doesn't trust the other lawyer that has written it. And so Simon reads the will, and it indicates that she has lots of money and no one to give it to. And this other lawyer has left most of the money to him, the lawyer, and that he's going to get all this money and he's going to be the trustee and he's going to write himself a big check. And so Simon spends a lot of time. The first half of the book talks about Simon and Eleanor, and Simon questioning Eleanor about her wealth, and she gets very upset about it. And so she just gives him little tidbits of where to find the wealth and stuff. And with her house, and she has no debts. She tells the story that her husband had worked for Coca-Cola, and he had bought stock in Coca-Cola throughout the years that he had worked there, and then began buying Walmart stock. And so it really made me, because I know people that have Walmart stock and I know people that have Coca-Cola stock. So it kind of made me think about them. And so come to find out, she finally tells him that she has $16 million and no one to give it to. And Simon's like, well, what about this? Don't you have some friends in this? And she's like, no, I don't have anything. Her husband, who's passed away, has two boys. And Simon's like, well, why don't you give, like $100,000 to each of the boys? And she's like, no, my husband didn't want to leave him anything, so I'm not going to leave him anything. They haven't seen me in a long time, and blah, blah, blah. So the first half of the book is setting the stage for Eleanor's wealth. And Simon is, of course, writing himself in, and he's giving himself money. And they meet, and he wine and dines her, and he's never gotten paid for any of this. So then Eleanor gets in an accident and she ends up in the hospital, and her decline begins. And so the stepsons come in, and Simon's on top of everything, and he ends up being the power of attorney and medical power of attorney just by um, things that progress. And so here's where the murder happens. Eleanor passes away, and the boys call for an autopsy, and they find out that she's been drugged. So the second half is about the murder, and Simon being accused of murder. So I'm not going to say any more about the book because I don't want to give it away. But the setup is really good. It's the second half of the book for me that got a little wonky. So here's my likes and dislikes. Number one, the plot and the storyline is great. I Loved it. I ate it up. I couldn't wait to find out. The second half of the book gets a little wonky for me because he invites all these characters, but he doesn't wrap them up. Like, he is up for murder, and his mother never comes to the courthouse. That was a little strange for me. And then his ex-wife never shows up. They just talk back and forth. And I can kind of understand that because of the kids. He has a friend in the FBI. He has a friend in the mob. There's just a lot of things going on. And then so my really, really bad dislikes is the end of the book and the way he wraps it up. And I there was just so many questions that I had at the end. It was just like the first part of the book is really, really good. The second part of the book, which should be really, really good, is almost there, but then all of a sudden at the end, it's not there at all. And it's again, I feel like he either gets tired of writing the book and he's tired of the character, or he's so wanting to make it Hollywood ending. So on Amazon, Amazon gives it a 4.5. Goodreads gives it a 4.3. I myself, being disappointed, I'm going to give it a 3.5 to a 3 3/4 stars, just because something happens and it just comes out of the blue, and I'm just not having it. So that's my opinion. That's my rating on it. I would love to see what y'all rate it. So when I thought about the cocktail, and it talks a lot about greed in this book, greed and good intentions, and being bitter with people and not forgiving. So I Googled a cocktail that had the name greed. So this is what I came up with. I am calling it the Greedy Pour. And it's heavy, it's bitter, it's tart, and it's kind of like what greed um, is to me in my mind. So we're going to make the pour. It's really very easy. It's gin. It's aged rum, and I'm using this for Eleanor since she was an aged woman, an older woman. And then some Chambord. It is a raspberry, very berry flavored, so that's going to give it a little bit of sweetness. I've got freshly squeezed lemon juice. So this is very easy. This is a shaken one since it's got some um, not just spirits in it. We're going to give it a shake. I'm using my Waterford tumbler again, which I love to do. And it's very easy. So it's gin based, and I love some gin. So this is my favorite gin. It's the Botanist and I picked it up at Colonial Wine and Spirits. So if you're there, go by and get you some gin if you like gin. The botanicals in this is really good, and it's very, very smooth. And so the rest of it is just um, half an ounce of rum. And you know me, I'm going to have to put the lids on everything, or we'll have it all over the floor and broken bottles and everything else. Then half of ounce of Chambord. I guess I'm saying that right. I'm not sure. I'm just a country girl, can't pronounce things right every once in a while. And then we've got some fresh lemon juice. So it's going to be a little tart and sweet, but it is very heavy. So, do you like John Grisham? I loved A Time to Kill, and this reminded me a lot of A Time to Kill, just because there is an elderly lawyer that's very successful. There is a lawyer that's down on his luck, and he's trying to break the case, and there's an FBI agent that comes in. So it just reminded me a lot of A Time to Kill. Okay, my toast is to gin, greed, and good intentions gone sideways. So here's to Eleanor, the widow. So here we go. That's really good. You don't taste, I taste the rum more than I do the gin. And then I really taste the raspberry berry flavor out of it. I don't taste much of the lemon. That raspberry is really forward. Isn't that funny? It's only half an ounce. Very good. Very, very good. Thank you very much. I hope that this helps you either to want to read the book, or maybe it makes you want to skip it for a little while. I just felt like I was disappointed. I really was disappointed with uh, the publicity on this book is really out there, and people are really buzzing about it. Maybe I have too high of an expectation for John Grisham, but I love John Grisham. And again, I love the storyline, I love the plot, I love everything about it until it gets to the middle part of the book and what I would call the meat of the book. Thank you all so much for watching. The recipe for the cocktail will be down below. Also, if you're interested in buying the book, I am a Amazon affiliate now, so I will link the book down below also. And it doesn't cost you anything extra to buy the book from me, but it helps me. I get a little kickback from it, and so I really appreciate if that's what you guys want to do, and it's easy to find. So thank you very much. Cheers to the widow.
Cheers!